from 440 Source. It's a billet piece, and it's got like a Torrington bearing in it. Right here, you can see the bearing inside. Now I'm just going to dry fit this stuff to, there's a little bit of, see that? Right there. I need to clean that off real quick before I go sticking it in my engine and getting metal shavings. Anywho, what was I saying? The metal filings from where they made the dowel pin hole. I mean, that's kind of strange. You'd think they would have better quality control than that. It says it's made in the USA, so we can't blame China. Check the camshaft against the timing. It's hot, guys. All right. I'm gonna put it in there, and I'm gonna degree the cam and check it against the cam card. Okay, and if everything matches on, first I'm gonna try straight up. Everything matches, and I don't have to do nothing. But if I have to change it or advance or retard it, it's 9-way adjustable, so I should have plenty of adjustment there. You know, I could have went with a stock timing cover and modified it and all that stuff. I don't know, I just wanted to buy this. So it's got this removable cover, and you can, let me get the instructions here. You can remove that cover and put this plate in here, which covers it halfway, and you can use God, it's hot, I can't think. The gauge. It'll come to me. You can use a friggin' gauge and see what the fore and aft play is. What up? So I figured I'd do an update. Still working on the 440. Degreed the cam in yesterday. Was able to put it in straight up, and it's accurate to the timing card, cam card. 440 Source, double roller set. It's got like the 9 keyways, and it's got a Torrington bearing behind here. Wasn't too thrilled with the interference fit with the dowel pin, cam alignment pin or whatever. It was super tight, and when I took the roller out of the box, it had some kind of burrs on the back side of that hole there. So I kind of deburred it or whatever, and then it just wouldn't fit. So I ended up measuring the dowel pin and the dowel pin with my caliper, and it was like 0.025, so it was like a 1/4 inch. So then I measured the hole, and it was like 0.243 or something like that. So I took and chucked up a drill bit, 1/4 inch drill bit, and ran it through there. It's still tight, but it's a lot better than it was. So that's my only complaint really on the timing set. The timing set seems to be pretty decent otherwise. There's no inaccuracies, like I didn't have to advance or retard anything with that. Walnut just fell and hit the garage. So I'm going to take it back off. I'm going to put it back at top dead center. I'm going to take the timing set back off, and I'm going to soak the chain in oil, and probably soak the gear at least the top gear in oil, because it's got that Torrington bearing in it, like I said. And then, but what I'm getting to the point, what I'm doing before that is I'm going to set up my cam butt, and I want to get the right fore and aft, you know, like spec, because the cam, you know, these engines didn't come with roller cams. Got some motor scooters going by. So yeah, they didn't come with a roller cam, so this is a retrofit. In order to make a roller cam work in one of these old blocks, you got to put a cam button in the front. I'm sure you know that. So anyways, I have this roller button here, comp cams, and it's got like a Torrington bearing in it or something in it. It doesn't fit, so you're supposed to machine this outside edge down to where it will fit inside there. This is the wrong end. This is the end that comes in contact with the thingamaboob, you know. So then I got this guy. This actually is a nylon button, and it has a steel sleeve that goes in there. That fits in there fine, just like that. The issue I'm having is with the hardware. Now this is ARP, and the hardware is already pretty small compared to like the hex bolts that normally come in it, that normally bolt the cam on, and that's as far as it'll go. Now you can see that. Better view. That's where it stops. So that's not going to work. So, and I watched a few videos. You know, see Mopar Joe had the same situation, and he did some hogging, and nothing wrong with that. But I'd really like to not have to do that, and if I do, I want it to where this button is able to spin, and I think that's the whole point of it, is that it's able to spin in that sleeve, and that'll reduce the wear on that button, you know, because it's going to be touching that timing cover. So I don't really want to just notch it and then bolt it down, because it's not going to spin freely, and it's just going to wear that nylon up pretty fast, and I don't want to be doing this job in 6 months. Hopefully I get 6 months of drivability. But anyways, so I got to figure that out. So when you make changes to your stock engine, it's like a domino effect. I learned that many years ago when I was having this engine built. So stock stuff, it all goes together, comes apart easy, goes back together easy, as long as there isn't anything major wrong with it. When you go changing things, that's when you run into trouble. So where I got it from, there you go. And this is made by the same company that made this. And if you're interested, this is their product sheet that came with the timing cover. Now if you want to know what this cost, really blew the budget on this one. Most people would not spend $400 on a timing cover, and I get that. And this was a Christmas, like drink a few beers, hit click, buy kind of deal. And I was just fortunate enough that my wife didn't divorce me and throw me out of the house. Anyways, but check this out. It separates, and it has this Torrington bearing in here, but it also has shims that you can remove. Right? There's one. There's two shims. Now, I don't know the thickness. I can pull out my caliper and show you or whatever. But check this out. Why can't the other ones do that? The perfect fit. Right out of the bag. No machine work. Nothing. The name and the number. If you're interested in that. And it's it's cover right. Alright, so it's all, you know, billet, and it's nicely machined, and it's, I don't know how thick it is. I'll get my measuring equipment here. We're about 3/4. Pretty close to 3/4 of an inch. So, alright, so now we want to see, let's see how thick this cover is. How about that? So the flange of the cover is pretty thick. Not quite 3/4, but pretty thick. What is that, 5/8 or something? This is a Lunati Voodoo hydraulic roller. I showed you the camera. Okay, let's see how deep we can go here. Little bottoms out on the cam. Alright, we got almost 1.25 inches. Threads is, so you see plenty of engagement, but it's not going to bottom out and crack, like bust. Well, it's not going to bottom out and break off inside the block. Say that, or inside the cam, not the block. And just for shits, I'm going to check all three of them to see if they're all the same. They're all pretty close. .121, so 120, 121, 123. All right, so the gasket I'm going to use, they recommended a gasket in the literature here. Read all this. Just go ahead and pause on it and check it out. Try to straighten it out for you. This is your good old Phil Pro. Small bolts. Tear my gasket up. So all this checking is done, and I got the proper shims and the cam button. All this is going to come apart, and I don't think you need to soak the chain in oil, but I'm gonna. 1, 5, 6, 8, and the cam button was 1, 5, 5, 2. Yeah, 1, 5, 5, 2, 1, 5, 5, 3. Yeah, so we got about 21 thou. What do we do? Throw a shim. Well, they didn't give us any extra shims. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to take this apart and rob a shim out of this one. I had to take this one apart and rob a shim out of it to get my right end play. So that might be an issue for you. I can tell you what the thickness of these shims are. Okay, these shims are, you'll throw the gear set back on, and then I didn't clean, so the lifters are Howard's roller lifters. They recommend that you clean them in mineral spirits and then soak them in oil overnight. I don't have any mineral spirits right now. I just have acetone. I don't want to use that. I think it's, I don't know. I don't want to take a chance. I want to use what they recommend to use. So, but in the meantime, I can get this buttoned up, and I can work on cleaning up the heads and assembling the heads, the valves back in the heads and everything. I had to have the new valve seals put on, you know, the positive seal valve seals, and then have the seats machined down for the double springs. I made a mistake, and man, people correct you real fast. I made a mistake. Then I also have to press in the front seal. So I'd say it's pretty damn close. I'm gonna just nail this install. I got all the bolts cleaned up, the threads cleaned up. They were pretty dirty. And then I Loctited them. I used 35 foot-pounds. That's what the book called for. And so now I'm onto the cam button. I'm not getting paid to use this stuff, so. Actually, I prefer to spend the extra 20 bucks, 30 bucks. 2 shims in the front and 1 shim in the back for this cam button. It's got the Torrington bearing, and say is just make sure you have this bottom sprocket all the way up against the crank, because otherwise you'll be on a bind and they won't be flush. And then this is a factory oil slinger. Just make sure you put the dish out, otherwise it'll contact the chain and wear a groove into it, and you'll have metal inside your engine. I put this, I don't know where I put it. I put this paint mark on here, and I kind of drew on the side, so that way if I want to inspect it, I can. And it's just the yellow stuff. Again, everything's, I keep forgetting that I'm using my phone, and everything's gonna read backwards, so. Anyways, I put some on the engine surface itself, and then I put some on the back side of the gasket, stuck the 2 together, and now they're glued. So then I took a little bit of baby powder and just kind of smeared it on this surface here, so that way it won't stick in the future. That's just a trick that Uncle Tony shared a while ago, and I'm going to try it out. You'll notice I already have the oil pan and oil pan gasket on, but it's dropped down. So, and I did that when I was pre-fitting everything. And I don't know if I mentioned, because I ran to the store and it's been a minute, so I don't know what I mentioned. This comes with 2 shims, and I added a 3rd shim to the cam button, so now it's at the proper. And when you check your cam button clearance, you're supposed to do it with the gasket on. So, and I did that. So it's all ready to go. Got my oil slinger on. It's on the right way. Everything's dot to dot. So I don't know if you can tell, but it's dot to dot. And come on. All right. So now timing cover's ready to go on. like I said, I got the seal installed. This just installed flat, and I even smeared a little bit of baby powder on just the surface here. You can see it's a really thick, flat surface, so it should seal real good. Just taking a little extra precautions, or doing, you know, the extra step to make sure everything is going to go together correctly and come apart correctly if need be. Alright, so one thing I will say is that it's a tight fit with these bolts here, the timing cover, and what I'm trying to say is that there's not a lot of slop in the bolt holes, so you really got to kind of do them all at once to make sure that you don't strip anything out. All these are dry fit. The only two that could possibly leak on you would be these top two. Actually, this one, because this one goes right into a boss, so it doesn't have any possible leakage. But this one could give you an oil leak, because this one actually goes through into the lifter valley. So that's something you could take note of if you care about it. I couldn't use the washers because my cam button wouldn't clear, so I just had to delete those. I did put red Loctite on. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. So these are the thicker bolts. These are probably 3/8 maybe bolts. I did put a couple nicks into my cover when I was using my press, but I'm not that concerned with it because they're very small, and this is going to be covered up mostly by the accessories. So that I bought. So actually this AR button is the third one I bought. First one I bought was the comp cams roller button. It's not in the right package. These aren't in the right packages, but anyways, I bought the roller button. Problem with it wouldn't fit into the cam. Wouldn't fit into the cam sprocket without having it machined. Didn't like that, so I bought the nylon one, which the nylon fit into the cam, but then the button was too big. So, and plus, I would have had to ground the shit out of it to make it work with my ARP bolts, or any hardware for that matter. So I ended up buying the correct one, which I would recommend just buying the AR. If you got a big block Chrysler, whether you're using this timing cover or a regular stock timing cover, get it. It's worth it. I'm not quite sure why comp cams can't come up with the proper button when, you know, they came up with the right dimension on this end of it, but when it comes to the roller button, you have to have it machined, and then I don't know, it's just kind of ridiculous. So use the stock harmonic balancer. This went to the machine shop along with the crank and the rods and pistons to get balanced. So the rubber on the back side is still in good shape. It's not cracked or coming out or anything like that. So I'm going to use it. I got my timing pointer on there. I put some lube on, just some of that oil on the inside of the harmonic balancer and on the outside. Also, I put some on the seal before I installed that. Installed the cover anyways. So now I need to go rent or buy. I don't know. I should just buy one because it seems like every time I need one, I don't have it. Just get a harmonic balancer install or puller installer. Yeah, that's about it. That's about as far as I can go. There's just some little bitty things that I can do. The wife wants to mow the lawn, so I ain't gonna be able to record anything else. I got some mineral spirits in a bucket, and I'm gonna clean those lifters, and then I'm gonna soak them overnight. So those will be ready to drop in. I might not do that tonight actually, because I still got to get the heads done, put cleaned up and put back together. So, but either way, I have the stuff to do it now, so I'll get at that. Friggin' cat here. So that's where I'm gonna leave it. Video's been long enough. I'm just rambling at this point. So pick this back up when I'm ready to move forward. And yes, the engine is gonna get a paint job after everything is put on it. Debating on whether I want to paint this or not. I think I will, just because I don't like how aluminum oxidizes than the look of it. I'd rather, you know, just put a coat of paint on it, I think. Even though it looks cool now, it won't stay that way forever. So, all right, well, catch you next time.